Looking at social media, it seems like every dude your age either crushing it financially, in incredible shape, happily married, or just living their best life while you're still trying to piece everything together. This disconnect is exactly why so many young men feel directionless. But the reality is, feeling uncertain in your 20s isn't some kind of character flaw. It's way more common than you'd ever imagine. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly why this happened. When I hit my early 20s, I was a complete mess, totally directionless. And now I'm a lot older, and I'm definitely not where I ultimately want to be. I haven't reached my final form yet, but there's still a long way to go. But I'm definitely in a much better spot than I was at 21 or 22. And honestly, I'm happy with the trajectory that I'm on, and it feels really good. So let's start by addressing this whole expectation versus reality thing. Growing up, most of us bought into the narrative of you bust your ass in school, you get into a solid college or university. Once you graduate, you'll get a good position, climb the corporate ladder for a bit, and then you'll just end up retiring and live a good life after that. But the problem is that that formula just doesn't work for this generation anymore. Minimum wage back then was enough to get you by through life. Nowadays, minimum wage cannot even pay half your rent. The gap between the rich and the poor is getting bigger and bigger, and this creates too much disparity between those who have what it takes to survive in this world and those who can't. It's essentially the destruction of the middle class. So this whole notion of just being bang average and living life how everybody used to isn't a reality anymore. You need to be a high performer. You need to be making loads and loads of money and able to survive and live the life that you think is average. So I've essentially set a scene for you. Everyone is grinding to make more money. Now, when you go onto social media right now, you're gonna see a lot of people flaunting millions and hundreds of thousands of dollars. The problem is making more money requires people to think that you make money. How about all those courses that people are trying to sell to you? They tell you that they can get you rich quick, or they can sell you a plan or a program that will make sure that you make thousands every day. Only way you're gonna buy that program is if you believe that they're making money too. And the problem with that is it makes your mind rewire in such a way such that you think that it's totally normal for the average person your age to be making thousands every single day. But it's just not realistic. And that puts you in a very awkward situation. You think you should be making way more money than you currently are at the moment, and you think it's just not possible for me to get from where I am, let's say you're on minimum wage, to be making millions a year. Because that gap is so big and you think it's normal for those people to be doing that, you'll just quit. You'll just realize that this life is not even worth grinding for. Why would you even put yourself in a position to compete with these people when it's just not realistic starting from where you're at? And that's just the financial side of things. There's so much going on social media that makes you think that the average person is living their best life every day. But in actuality, we're all facing the same problems, trying to do the same things to get to a better position. And that's the first thing that we need to accept, that social media has corrupted us. Another reason why we feel so lost is that there are less male role models out there for us to follow. There's been a surge of red pill and black pill type influencers that have been dominating the space recently, and that's because there's a gap that they're filling. They have noticed that there's a lot of men today, young men, who are aimless, clueless, and confused about where they want their life to go. The problem we're making is that we're latching on to the first influencer that seems to have some kind of solution for us to find guidance. This is ultimately a recipe for disaster, because just because you are getting an answer doesn't mean it's the right one, the optimal one, or the best one for society. Here's an example. Let's say you're a young man who wants to go to the gym. You're probably going to look at men who are a lot bigger than you, who have a lot more muscles, who have been through the training program for some help. You're going to ask them what their splits are, what workouts they do, how often they do it. But you're not just going to take the first opinion, even if it's the strongest guy, because you want to validate and make sure that the split that you're doing is going to be optimal for you. We're all different. We all do things in a different way. We want to make sure that the opinions that we receive from others are A, validated, and B, actually help you reach your goal. When it comes to these red pill and black pill influencers, just because you feel a certain way or you agree with one or two points doesn't mean you have to shape your identity and your masculinity based off another man that might be telling you things that are not true. So the golden question is, what should we do? How do we not feel clueless in our 20s? What should we be doing to prep ourselves for the future in the best way possible? The first thing you need to understand is your biggest enemy is yourself. You're not here to be competing amongst other people on social media. Your biggest enemy is who you were yesterday, and your biggest challenge is how you're going to become better than who you are today. If you put all your attention onto yourself and block out all the noise about what people are doing, you will ultimately become better each and every day. Pick something specific that you know that you need to work on. It could be fitness, finances, it could be career development. Choose one of these things and actively make a plan to get better at it without looking at people who are better than you constantly. It's good to gain inspiration from others who have succeeded, but it should be no more than just that. Inspiration. All in all, if you're in your 20s and you're feeling lost, just know you're not failing. You're exactly where you're supposed to be, and that's perfectly fine. You're doing well, and I can promise you that. Direction comes from taking action. It doesn't come from overthinking and getting trapped in analysis paralysis. Try moving in the right general direction each and every day. Just get 1% better, and over time, you'll start to reap the rewards at an exponential rate. And as cliche as it sounds, it's not always about the end result, but rather the process that got you there. Winning the war isn't what makes you a true man. True man is built from being able to constantly push forward despite the challenges, pushing through adversity at every given moment, and inspiring others along the way. All in all, I just want to let you know that you're not alone and you're not the only one that's going through it. We're all on the same journey and we're all facing the same struggles. The only difference is those who take action. It's been your boy Sanchino. Thanks for watching the video. Leave a like and comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.